Hello my crypto people and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News, and today I am sharing with you guys everything that you need to know about the crypto space right freaking now. Everything that's happened over the last 48 hours is going to be covered in this video, so make sure you press that like button if you're excited for a news update. Yes guys, there's quite a lot of stuff to share and we're going to start out with this article right here. In this article, we have Michael Saylor who actually answers a question about whether or not Bitcoin will hit $10 million at one point. Referring to the latest interview, Saylor claimed, "You have Andrew, who represents the mainstream media, stating I can't get through an interview without talking about Bitcoin." Then you have Andrew saying a nation state has considered adopting Bitcoin for payments, when she, Secretary Yellen, says lots of Americans have this as part of their investment strategy. Now, for all of you that don't know, crypto regulations are definitely the spotlight right now. It's definitely the most important thing in the crypto space that everybody is talking about. And we have a very interesting thread right here that I kind of want to spit through, but I think we should actually read because it adds a lot of important value. So take a look at this. If you've been paying attention the past few weeks, there's a lot of evidence of a bipartisan vibe shift on crypto. Contrary to the media narrative that pushes a polarized split on the issues, here's what I've seen. Last night, Politico and Grayscale hosted Regulating the Digital Gold Rush with Senator Loomis and Senator Gillibrand. Lots of folks know Loomis bona fides on crypto, or bona fides, I'm not sure. Adding Gillibrand to the mix with the goal of creating a pro-innovation regulatory framework is a very big deal. The New York House delegation is involved too. If you haven't read Rep. Richie op-ed making the liberal case for crypto, please do so. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky vision for a progressive paradise. There are real solutions to problems being developed right now. And then there briefly is Richie explaining, right over there, why crypto can have some good applications. There's healthy legislative bipartisanship in the House too. Last week, Tom Emmer, another representative, led a group of 4RS plus 4DS in sending a letter to the the SEC, imploring the agency to not stifle innovation by imposing onerous reporting requirements on the crypto companies. Maybe it was onerous, I have no idea. I'm not a native English speaker. After Biden's crypto EO, we're keeping an even closer eye on the federal agencies and regulatory bodies. That's why I'm happy to see this reversed but bullish by government standards remark from Secretary Yellen this morning, where she basically, again, Secretary Yellen, said she's a little bit skeptical about crypto, as you can most likely read in this section as well. Have a little bit of skepticism, says Yellen, about crypto. On the other hand, there are benefits from crypto, and we recognize innovation in the payment systems can be a healthy thing. And I know that many in the crypto community are frustrated with the media's point of view, but the coverage is on average improving and increasing. You can't have issues with how they approached it, but it's meaningful. And even the New York Times added an entire section just about crypto. These good examples do not mean crypto enjoys diamond-plated support across the political spectrum. It does mean that those who want to learn, engage, and support are finding lanes to do so. Progressive, libertarian, moderate, conservative, liberal, everyone's welcome. And that's, I think, one of the main reasons why crypto will most likely do so well. There's a ton of different use cases which we can think of, but more importantly, the negative sides that people used to be able to pull are fading away easily. It's just fading away. Saying it's only scam transactions? Well, obviously not. Saying nobody's using it or nobody's gonna use it? That's most likely a lie. Saying it uses a crazy amount of energy? Well, yeah, only for now, but it's already being fixed. There's so many of these parts which in the past were such easy deflections. A lot of these secretary guys and representatives know you can't go that easily around the bush anymore. Because take a look, for example, at Janet Yellen. She admits crypto has benefits, says Treasury is working on crypto regulations right now as we speak. She has admitted that there are benefits to crypto. Crypto has grown by leaps and bounds and is now playing a significant role in the investment decisions of a lot of Americans, Yellen said, adding that the Treasury Department is working on regulatory recommendations for healthy innovation. There's also this one article that I found, and I think it's rather interesting. It's on the Hill's website, and it reads, "Biden is planning a new digital currency. Here's why you should be very worried." And it got 1,700 comments and 3,000 shares, which is a very significant amount. And to be honest with you, I think for all us crypto people, this is a little bit clickbait in the sense that yes, the US is looking into a lot of these different payment systems, looking into a CBDC with the highest urgency. Nothing's really happening right now. And they actually quoted themselves as well. We know that they're talking about some sort of digital dollar, and we can see it at the bottom. We can see some issues about the privacy. If the Fed has no plan to use a future central bank digital currency to control America's behavior, Andal Federal response is incredibly bizarre to say the least. It's clear that Biden administration and the Fed are working together to create a controllable, traceable, programmable digital currency, and if they're successful, life in America might never be the same. But as I've stated before, this is mostly speculation because we can go into all these different opinions of all these different people and all these different theories that have been put onto paper, but we all know a digital dollar will most likely come. But what form it will take, where it will be built on, who will build it, it's been in the works for a very long time, but there's no conclusive results that I can share with you right now. So it's also nearly impossible to actually state whether or not it would be good or bad, or what the consequences of that will be, as we have literally no idea of what type of functions they're going to be given it, as it's literally just an idea thrown out there. We can't really grasp onto anything. It's like a little pollen, whatever thingy, flying through the sky. Where's it going to land? Absolutely nobody knows. The only thing you know is it's flying somewhere. Talking about flying somewhere, Russian Prime Minister Economy Ministry support legalization of crypto. Apparently, the Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin and the Russian Ministry of Economic Development have backed efforts to regulate crypto and integrate them into the country's economy. So that is looking pretty damn good. The support comes amid mounting sanctions over the war, I don't want to say that too much, which restricts Russia's access to global finances. And so right now we're finding some very big use cases over in both countries and actually the areas everywhere for crypto. At the end of the day, this is pretty important to the story because everything like the Biden executive order, they've all been kind of sped up and they've all been intensified a little bit due to the fact that the use case in actual countries has now been ramped up severely. And so if Ukraine are going to declare it as proper legal tender, well, that's some very big steps, and that makes the US need to step it up a little bit. That was all the good stuff though, as crypto regulations right now, mostly in the world, are looking really nice. There's actually a small little beautiful piece we have coming up in a second, but take a look at this negative news right now. The UK to reveal crypto regulation plans in the coming weeks with a little bit of a difficult negative narrative. The reason I'm saying that is not because it's going to focus on stablecoins, which I think is kind of nice, which I have some news for in a second as well. It's mostly because they've been kind of digging down a lot of these crypto ads. And I think at the end of the day, what they're going to do is try to prevent all these people from getting scammed and people scamming, obviously, which is all good. But I think somewhere in the road, they might lose their way if they're not extremely careful. And so right now in the UK, it's let's watch this. Let's keep a freaking binocular on that right now, to make sure they don't really overdo themselves and actually get too crazy of a crypto ban going on. Then again, I guess as much as he's saying right now is that they just want to prevent it from threatening the wider stability of financial markets, which, as I just described to you, we don't know exactly how that's going to develop, as that could be like okay, you know what, it's too threatening, let's get rid of it, or it could be, well, a lot of people are getting scammed, let's make sure that there's a little bit more rules in place. The EU is kind of doing something in the same lines of trying to protect people. Apparently, the EU has cracked down on unhosted wallets. European Union is close to banning anonymous crypto transactions to make it easier to track down criminals, which in theory sounds like a very good thing. And at the end of the day, I am kind of in the middle of saying, yeah, it's logical. I mean, think about it. As a government, you are really wanting to see whatever transaction is going on and be able to monitor it if need be, because that's how you've done it for a very freaking long time right now. And as citizens of any freaking country, it's, I think, becomes standard to just accept the fact that you're being monitored every single point. Through crypto, partially, because with Bitcoin, it can still mostly be traced. But partially, we got a little bit of this freedom back to be able to transact without somebody being able to look over your shoulder. And now it's kind of reversing itself as whatever transaction you make, they still want to be able to see it. Again, the reason I'm saying I understand is because they want to tax it, they want to make sure there's no money laundering, they want to make sure there's no crazy financing. The reason I kind of think, is because they still want to dig all up in your business when sometimes there's literally nothing they should look into that for. But the contrary to that, again, is if you're not doing anything shady, then why does it matter? But the core principle is, why would they have to be able to invade your privacy if you're not doing anything wrong? So it's a difficult one. We're not going to come out of this one except for saying it's not so nice for you as a person, but there's also not really too much we can do, except for obviously the argument which we talked about before, which is just, well, they can say stop using unhosted wallets, stop using MetaMask or so, but what are they going to do if you keep using it unless they take MetaMask down? It literally says there they want to vote to to kind of, am I understanding that right? Let's read it again. According to a Twitter thread posted by Patrick Hansen, head of growth and strategy at decentralized finance group Unstoppable Finance, the European Parliament is on track, read this with me guys, to vote to include unhosted wallets such as Ledger or MetaMask in the anti-money laundering package as a start of the transfer of funds regulation. Oh my days. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a very interesting one. Because it also says that the European Commission might end up entirely prohibiting transactions to private wallets. My days, what are these guys doing? I mean, oh damn. But I guess it is what it is. The EU has been acting kind of strange lately on all these crypto bans they want to try and put in. As we saw before with the ban of the proof of work, which didn't pull through. Right now it's being confirmed. It's not going to pull through. But damn. Let's put some more positive vibes on the freaking plate, you know. Rio de Janeiro, to accept Bitcoin for real estate taxes from 2023. Some good stuff, you know, to kind of end it up on a good note, even though it's not the end of the video. Supporting this cause led by Mayor Eduardo Paes, Binance CEO CZ announced to open a new office in the Brazilian city, saying he's done his part, we are working on ours now. Very nice, guys. We will stimulate the circulation of crypto by integrating them into the payment of taxes, as in the case of IPTU, and in the future, this can be expanded to services such as taxi races, for example. They also plan to do some stuff with NFTs, but hey, this is more important for right now. Let's go into the next little piece, which is about Terra. For all of you that don't know, I honestly believe that this is mostly what is pumping the crypto market right now. I honestly believe so to the bottom of my core. I know I'm lagging a little bit, but hey, it's okay. Terra's Bitcoin reserves hit $1 billion following aggressive buying on price dips. They've been buying a freaking ton of Bitcoin. It is insane, guys. It is crazy how much they're buying. But remember, they wanted to have $10 billion worth of reserves. So yeah, 1 billion is just the start of it all. Then again, I've described in my previous video why things are looking so bullish right now for the entire space. Just understand that whatever we're seeing right now is just the start. It's most likely going to get way more severe in the near future, as they're going to buy freaking $10 billion worth. They've only bought one. Wow. Maybe they only have 7 here. I see he thereafter outlined a $3 billion investment plan on Bitcoin before raising the bar to 10. Oh, okay. Whatever. It doesn't matter. They're going to buy a freaking ton of Bitcoin. Right now they're at 1. They're going to go to 10. That's all I know. So they're going to get $9 billion worth more. It's going to be a crazy freaking time. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Why is Bitcoin 46,000? Let's refresh. Come on. Why is this the longest refresh that I've ever seen in my life? What? Am I getting debated? Excuse me? What? It's real. No way. Guys, it's the end of the week in about 3 hours from now. Whoo, this is gonna be crazy. No way. Am I seeing this right now? Am I seeing? I'm hyped up because what? Really? Let's put this thing back on so I can think better. Well, we don't need to talk too much about what exactly is pumping the price anymore, as we already described it. It's most likely, for a very good part, them buying a freaking $1 billion worth. That's a very big deal. So you guys probably understand an injection of $1 billion or $1 billion worth of Bitcoin being bought is a very big deal for the price. Even though you might say, oh, but the market cap pumped by 17 billion. Why is it? It doesn't work like that. You don't have to actually pump in 17 billion to increase the price by 17 billion. Or to increase the reserves by 17 billion is just, hey, whoa, holy smokes, though, that is crazy. So if you guys don't know, I'm doing a very big XRP giveaway of at least 1,000, but I'm thinking of even doing 3,000 if we don't hit $1 in a week. As I stated before in my previous video, my long positions are open to the craziest amount. I have so much money going on right now. It might actually be just irresponsible at this point. But I guess it worked out though. So as of this point, we can definitely say I enjoy it. If you guys want more updates on the price, make sure you check. Oh my days, what did they hit just now? Let's check this out. Can I see? This bar's in the way. Man, I'm just literally a little bit confused over it all, guys. I'm a little bit confused. The highest point we hit today was 46.6 thousand. Is this little thingy right there? No way, guys. That is insane right now. If we get to this price by 3 hours from now, that's gonna be nutty. That is going to be absolutely nutty, because that would be one of the most bullish closes for Bitcoin we could have had in a while. Then again, even just closing a 4 hour, or I guess even a 1 hour. Oh, that would be huge, guys. This hourly, oh, this is 1 day. Never mind. I wanted to say the hourly candle. Let's see how that one has done just now. Yeah, look at that. So it was just struggling at the $45,000 mark. And the moment it broke through, again, the bears and bulls were fighting like crazy. It shot up by about 1,500 within a flash pump. That is insane, guys. That is insane, insane, insane. So we can only speculate and say that it has to do with another very big buying spree, but let's take a look at the volume to see. Let's see if there was some crazy volume. Yeah, for sure. That was some crazy volume at this point is what that is. Look, it's 579 in comparison to like 17 and whatnot within this hour. Let's see even a little bit more deeply. Wow, that is very interesting to see, because we're seeing that at the start of this quote-unquote breakthrough, it actually didn't do so well. It was literally only the candle where it broke above $50 or $45,000 that all of a sudden for a couple of candles it started to go wild and rapid, and then afterwards it kind of took off a little bit again as the markets calmed down. But that is crazy, guys. Are you watching this? Oh, I should have gone live. That would have been really more fun. Last thing I wanted to show you guys, which I kind of got sidetracked right now, I'm going to post this as soon as I possibly can, was about another Bitcoin prediction. Next day to watch will be April 5th. But I kind of disagree right now. Let's just watch for today. The breakout has happened. Things are looking really interesting. All we're waiting for right now is a bullish close. And I've been trying to look. Give me a sec.